We welcome you live to the season number 5 NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series race in Watkins, Glen International. And of course, we're back on the road course. It is Watkins, Glen, a week all around the NASCAR iRacing FedEx League. You had the Grand National Series race last night, the trucks on Tuesday, and then of course now the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series. It's race number 17 of season number 5, and here we go. The final road course of the season. There's only, of course, 2 this year. It's Sonoma and now, of course, at Watkins Glen for the Cup Series. All right, but coming up here today, 2 races remain, of course, in the regular season as well. And that's the big fight to look at. We'll be looking at your chase standings entering today. Also be talking about some of the race format. Half-hour warm-up session, of course, as always, starting off soft. Then we're going to have 10 minutes of open qualifying due to it being a road course. Then, of course, we have the race 50 laps tonight from Watkins Glen International. In Watkins Glen, New York. This should be hopefully a fun one. Last season's race here was just thrilling. This is going to be the first ever Watkins Glen Cup race with the Gen 4 car, so that's definitely going to change some things. But we'll see how it goes tonight from the Glen. Of course, Matthew White actually won Grand National last night. Cameron Chandler won a thrilling truck race on Tuesday. Of course, Matthew saved somehow enough fuel, saved I think like 7 laps of fuel or something crazy like that last night, I'm sorry, to win his second Grand National race of the season. He won this race 2 straight years in a row, so he's now going for 3 straight wins at Watkins Glen International. We'll see if he can do it tonight. That would certainly be impressive. Also, a big breaking story here. Sean Rowe, he's pretty much locked into the chase. I don't think he can really win the regular season title either today or this season anymore, but he will not, unfortunately, be in this race. He unfortunately has something going on. He has to miss this one. He will be back next week in Daytona, so that's just something to keep in mind. But hopefully we get a good one tonight from the Glen. All right, car is about to be on the racetrack from Watkins Glen International, our second road course this season. Also going to have radio style today. Be going over that in a minute. Just like last night, but of course with a different co-commentator. Alrighty. Car is about to pull onto the track here in Watkins Glen. The warm-up session is underway, and we are live for the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series from the Glen. Here we go. Road course racing tonight, live on the channel. Race number 17 of this NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series season. And we are, of course, on the racetrack. Here goes Payson Lindsay down the back straightaway, heading to the bus stop. First ever time, like I said, with this Gen 4 car here at the Glen. Gen 7 car has been used at every other race at this track. Of course, we've had 4. Matthew White is the winner of 2 of them. He should be a favorite for today to maybe go for 2 wins this week. After, of course, like I said, winning the Grand National race as well. And here's Lindsay heading to the second to last corner on his opening lap here. Been a wild week around Watkins Glen so far between Grand National and trucks. What's going to happen today in the Cup Series? Obviously, the longest race, 50 laps today. There's a halfway break at the end of lap 25, and here comes Payson Lindsay to start his opening flying lap down the front straightaway and heading into turn 1. Payson, of course, interesting chase situation for him. Of course, they're going to be doing it radio style tonight around Watkins Glen International. Eli Franklin for the second straight Cup Series season will be joining me here in the booth doing radio style. So he'll, of course, be calling one half of the racetrack. I'll be calling the other. Let's actually look at that radio style map real quick for tonight. Of course, I'm going to have the final corner, second to last corner. And then I'll have the final corner down the front straightaway through turn 1 up through the S's, and then I'll hand it over to Eli down the back straight. He'll have the bus stop, he'll have the carousel, and then that short chute as well he'll have. And cars, of course, making time here at Watkins Glen International. So Eli, of course, you're back in the booth here. You've done a couple of cup races lately. You've been actually pretty successful as of late, but it's Watkins Glen tonight, our second and final road course of the season. What could we possibly expect out of this track today?
I think it'll be a good race overall tonight, hopefully, and it's going to be a lot different compared to the other 2 races due to the fact that we have a stage break, which is going to be make it very interesting to see what these guys' strategy is. during that stage break or even before the stage break. A little bit longer race, but if you look at it in terms of laps, 25 each of that same as a truck race, so you basically run a truck race 2 times, but also not bad of a pit stop. That's gonna be interesting tonight. See how early on, because we've seen the past. Last night we got an early yellow, and right before we had a wreck early on, but wasn't enough for a yellow.
Hopefully the car count looks okay today as well. I don't think we can afford a terrible car count like we had in Darlington last week. Talking about Darlington last week, how about that? I think we've done this a couple of times now, but it's officially the first Cup race back. Landon Johnson, do you want to explain to us what happened there?
I gotta give me a second, I'm about to die.
Oh.
Yeah, we finished second in the race last week at Darlington, and then the leader got DQ'd. The winner, Bryce Benton. So we got our first career win in the Cup Series.
And now Landon Johnson is officially a Cup Series Southern 500 winner. His first ever win comes, of course, in the Southern 500. And here's the man that got disqualified last week after winning, Bryce Benton. He also lost 20 chase points from the penalty he got. It was just a mess for him. He's definitely lucky he didn't get suspended. He got suspended after this race last season, so he's going to have to hope he doesn't do the same thing this year. All right. Still just getting started here at the Glen. Here's the Max DiFilippi down the front straightaway. In a turn one will go Zane Romano. And he'll head up through the S's. All right. Again, Roman will now go down the back straightaway. Of course, half-hour warm-up session like we set up first for about 7 minutes of that. Just getting started here. So Payson Lindsay is so far top of the board. Matthew White is currently in second. Nathan Bond makes time. Here's Cole Clausen. Here's the 7 of Matthew White, currently fastest. So good at this racetrack. 2 career Cup Series wins here. Grand National victory last night. And looking for his 3rd straight win at this track. Would be so impressive if he could do that. Ooh, here's 9 of Benson cutting through the grass, as you can see. All right, here's the 9 of Benson yet again. Needs 99 of Payson Lindsay as well. He goes down the front straightaway. Here's Ashton Miller now in the 79 car on the track. He had great pace in the Grand National Series last night. All right. Anyways, here goes Miller back into 1.
Landon, while you're here, what's the field window looking like?
I'll give you 1 second. I've been out here for about 3 laps, so about 32 laps.
Can't make it the stage, but we'll have to have a pit stop at some point. Probably it's a stage break or even before the stage break.
Okay, we'll see how it goes. We expected them to be able to make it to the end on fuel. Here's the 78. 8 holes for some reason in a Ford this week. Matthew White will go around now in the 7, and he'll hit the wall. Here goes Payson Lindsay back on track, the 88 of Landon Johnson. Now Cameron Chandler behind. 8 holes in the 78 car. We head up through the S's. There's Cheery in the 29. He has damage, so does St. Ramon. And there's the 9 of Bryce Spencer. 32 there at Kylan Wilson. Okay. Here's the 99 of Payson Lindsay once again for the final corner. Payson might have some sort of penalty on his way, let's be honest here, after what happened last night. We'll explain it later once the penalty's all done.
It wasn't the smartest decision to get Payson, especially how you are on the cut line. Just now getting into the cut line.
Yeah, let's look actually at that chase cut line today. Heading into Watkins, Glen. Of course, Cameron Chandler, he can actually lock up the regular season title. He's currently like 60 above Bryce Benson, so he can just about do that today if he, of course, got helped out by Benson getting disqualified last week, but he can pretty much do that if he doesn't lose like 25 points to Benson today, which is going to be hard to do with this horrific looking field. Benson is locked into the chase, so is Hunsaker, Rowe, Matthew White, and Aiden Donahue. John Butler is 70 above now. I think he can lock himself in after tonight, if he does okay. See, Axel Smith, he's only plus 11. I don't know where he's been lately. Mason Lindsay is now only plus 8 to the cut line. Ashton Miller is only plus 3. Behind him is Aiden Holes, minus 3. Jacob Quayle, he hasn't been here the last week or so, minus 5. Andrew Stacy, minus 42. Wilkin, I don't know where he has been either. Milkish, I don't know where he's been. Tobin, don't know where he's been. It's been an unfortunate season of attendance, and just say there will be major changes after this season. And I do mean major. I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah. Anyways. Around goes Lindsay, and then 99, he'll hit the wall there. There goes Matthew White again, down the back straightaway. Anyways, here comes the 7 of Matthew White. To the final corner he'll go. And down the front straightaway. About halfway through this warm-up session. There's Hunsaker in the 77. And the 8 of Chandler. Of course, sticker up top, you can see it is new for this week only. It's only going to be used at, of course, Watkins Glen today. And then any other road course that we maybe have. I don't know if we're going to officially use it for any other road course. Not 100% sure on that stat just yet. Of course, going to be back to the vertical ticker at Daytona next week. Here's Cole Clausen. Aiden Holes now behind Tim Clausen, going to spin out. Oh my God, Cole Clausen. All right, so Cole Clausen, you were actually an in-race reporter for us today. First time in I feel like forever. But you've been on the racetrack here for a few laps. So it's ultimately the feel here with the Gen 4 car. First time we've been at this track with this car.
Yeah, it feels pretty fast, I gotta say. Having a little bit of fun over here in the second to last corner here at Watkins Glen, but yeah, just almost cleared the catch fence there, and yeah, not doing amazing in practice right now, but as long as we can, have some consistent speed, I think we could get maybe a top 10, top 5 here today.
Yeah, we'll see what goes on. Here comes Matthew White to the bus stop. Anyways, Zane Herman will be heading down the back straightaway. Bryce Benson, by the way, is now going back top of the board. He was definitely getting redemption for being disqualified from the Southern 500 last week. And here goes Landon Johnson heading down the front straightaway. Just for comparison, we had 26 cars start the race here at Watkins Glen last season, so it's really unfortunate. Don't know where we went wrong, but okay. Here goes the 77 of Hunsicker. Ooh, he's going to go into the gravel. The first lap on the racetrack for him here in practice, and he's going to hit the wall. All right. So with the small field count, I don't think you would expect a single caution for incident in this race, but I could be wrong. Who knows? This race was wild last season. Thrilling Watkins Glen race. I mean, Cole Clausen, you were in that race. If you remember anything from that, like what do you remember?
I remember me getting a top 5 on a road course somehow, so that was pretty amazing. But yeah, I mean, I think Andrew Stacy flew through the air and ended up in the top 5 somehow. I remember that, and yeah, just an all-around crazy race, but a lot of fun too with the 26 cars we had there, unlike what we're gonna get tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, honestly, I know those were next-gen times, but I really do miss that a lot. Everything just felt so much better than this. Let's be real. Anyways, into the wall goes Cameron Chandler. Behind him, Matthew White.
One thing we saw last night, which was very entertaining and really impressive, Matthew White's field saving. His field window was about 7 laps short. He saved enough to go and win the race, which is impressive. We saw people have to come down pit road with 4 laps to go to hit fuel, and he was able to save enough to win the race and do a burnout. So he wanted to maybe stretch a little bit for guys like that.
Here goes Ramon into the bus stop. About 10 minutes left here in practice. Hunsicker is having a bit of connection issue. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyways, the Kyron Wilson spins. There's the 7 of Matthew White making time. Ahead of him, Cameron Chandler. Here's Bryce on the on pit road. The paint scheme for Pace and Lindsay this week. Chili's Radinente. course, like we said, this is double the distance of the truck race. So, like Eli made a comparison earlier to first stage, if it goes completely green, it'll be the exact same sort of things as the truck race. We had no cautions then. 25 laps for each stage. Or for the halfway break, I mean, in the middle. Stage 1 toward, of course, top 10 cars, as always. Up to the S's goes Payson Lindsay. There's White coming back onto the racetrack. There goes the 79 of Ashton Miller. The bus stop will go. Stretch will go with a short shoot. There's Bryce Benson ahead of his teammate Cameron Chandler. They go to the final corner there.
Hi, Ethan. Crazy.
Unfortunately, TJ Moon, we can't have you here tonight.
Why?
Because it's cup race. Anyways, there goes the 8 of Cameron Chandler up the hill. 7 minutes left here in practice.
And TJ Moon has just connected. He will be racing in today's race.
Oh, wow. So, by the way, there are no Ethan Trendler Racing cars in this race right now. So, I'm obviously the team owner, obviously. So, we forgot to show up this week. We're decided.
Jacob?
What?
Is Jacob Glen on one, or was he?
No, he's not. He's not for Mike. He's for Chandler Wilson Racing. Yeah, so we forgot to unfortunately show up this week. With Sean, because Sean Rowe can't race today, we just decided not to bring the cars to the racetrack, apparently, at all.
But still, 5 minutes to go. Price is very unfortunate for Huntsman. It seems like he's having neck problems and not getting a lot of practice no practice and at the Glen's gonna hurt.
And Landon Johnson, are you okay?
Yeah, I got bored. I pulled a Cole Clausen.
Clearly. All right, so about 5 minutes left to go here in practice. So John Butler should be here as well. So I think we're going to do this again. We're me and Eli, of course, doing radio style tonight. Trying to find any sort of battle. There's really anything, but we're going to do a bit of a practice. Here comes Bryce Benson down into turn 1. He will look to go out wide. He will use all the racetrack. Of course, driver that just got disqualified last week at the Southern 500 heads back up the yeses. He's currently now second on the board. Matthew White just jumped ahead of him. He will slide his way through 2, through 3, hits the wall a little bit, gets loose, goes around. We'll hand it over to Eli with Jacob Clarino.
Jacob Pants goes through the bus stop here. Very important here in the race. Make sure to not go side by side for you. If you do, it's probably going to be contact and possibly be wreck. As we now go through the carousel, which is very important, the man off of you. You can easily spin out like Jacob almost did there. Now heading through, I guess you call the second backstretch. Very important to have a good exit here. You don't have to lose a lot of time. As we now go back to Ethan here.
He will go back down to the second to last corner. Got to hit your marks. He's currently on his warm-up lap, though. So cut him some slack there. To the final corner, and he will be heading back down the front straightaway. All right.
What?
Anyways, as they head back into turn one, there is the nine of Bryce Benson back through the S's. 2 minutes to go before qualifying gets underway here. As he heads down the backstretch, there's the one of Zandermont. Here comes Ashton Miller down the front straightaway. The 8 of Cameron Chandler will be rolling his way back into turn one. And he's going to go off the track, it looks like, and almost into the wall. Here goes Pace and Lindsay heading down the back. There's got to hit your marks around here at Watkins Glen. Lap times are pretty quick. So guys, Landon and Cole, are the cars definitely, do they feel quicker than maybe the Grand National cars? I'm asking this more actually to Cole, because he did Grand National, of course, last night, and also did the truck race.
Oh yeah, they're definitely a lot faster. I think like corners are kind of the same. Like you gotta hit the same braking points and whatnot. I mean, I guess they're a little different, but I think on the speedway speed, which is basically what Watkins Glen is all about, is where we get all of our speed.
Of course, this is called the super speedway of road courses. This place so quick around the Glen. Cars are just absolutely flying around this place. And here it comes, crossing through the S's, really to the wall a little bit. Going to be heading down the back straightaway. The bus stop goes Landon Johnson behind him. There's the 7 of Matthew White. Actually, Cameron Chandler goes top of the board. So it's been Benton, White, Chandler kind of swapping the top of the board situation there. That's interesting. Cameron now, of course, won the truck race, but he didn't have the most speed in that race. He was kind of 5th all day. 4th, 5th all day until, of course, craziness happened at the end of that, thanks to Cole Wilson. All right. Well, that will just about do it here in the warm-up session from Watkins Glen International. Qualifying coming right up. 10 minutes, of course, open qualifying, all cars on the racetrack at the same time. Going for, oh my God, going for the pole. Cole Clausen, are you okay?
No.
Wow.
I need AMR safety queen immediately.
All right. Anyways, that'll do it here in the warm-up session for the Cup Series in Watkins Glen. Of course, this is, I guess, one more normal race in this regular season, if you even want to call Watkins Glen normal, before Daytona, the regular season finale next week. Points are on the line today, big time. And, of course, this is your chase standings entering tonight at the Glen. Can Aiden Holes gain on Ashton Miller? Will Pace and Lindsay lose anything? Axel Smith, remember him. This could be huge for Aiden Holes. I don't know what Axel Smith is doing while he's not showing up. He's commentating. He's, by the way, commenting on my YouTube post and contact all the time, but he's just not racing for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, cars at the racetrack for the warm-up session. Here goes Cameron Chandler. First car on clean air was fastest in practice. Cole Clausen behind him, so it's definitely important to get some clean air here. Cole's going to have to try to back off from Cameron a little bit, coming to the bus stop.
One thing he could also do here is maybe right behind him is try to learn something. You also got to remember, he was fastest in practice. And Cole, he wasn't bad in practice, but if you can just gain attendance, it will help a lot in qualifying here. Just maybe find a little bit in one of the braking corners. Maybe that you're think that you can maybe with the guy in front of you that's the fastest lap, maybe help you gain attendance too.
And here, Cameron Lewis down the front straightaway. There's the 32 of Kyron Wilson in his Cup Series debut today. I forgot to mention that. Of course, usual Grand National driver. Had some decent results this season. Gets promoted up to the Cup Series. Actually fielding his own car today. Heading back into turn 1. So I guess technically he doesn't get promoted. He's driving for himself. Up to the S's, they go. Cole Clausen will be heading now down this back straight. Oh, Cameron gets loose out of him to the Wongus Chandler. Oh, he'll hit the wall yet again, nearly to that tire barrier as well.
Well, we've seen the past 2 races with the trucks and Grand Nationals. Qualifying's been faster in practice, and we'll see if that goes with tonight, as Cole Clausen will be the first one to put a lap down once he gets to the start finish line.
Of course, you can put down as many laps as you can in these 10 minutes. Of course, you can start your final lap right before time expires, and then you can be on your final lap and finish it after time expires here in qualifying. I would expect to see maybe 4 laps at the most being put in here today for these drivers in qualifying. We'll see that. TJ Moon is certainly lucky that penalties weren't announced today. So he's currently on the racetrack here. Here's Braden Hunsiker. Connection issues in practice. He is now back and looks ready to go. Almost won the Southern 500 last week, and then unfortunately for him crashed late in the going. As he will go back at a 1.
Matthew White hit the wall, so that is his one lap he was trying to put down. Ashton Miller a second, outpacing Lindsay to the top of the field.
That's a good lap. And here comes Cameron Chandler, of course, spun out on his warm-up lap, heading back down the front straightaway. Gotta kind of look here. Cameron was actually Bryce Benson now goes top of the world by about, what, that's 5/10, 4/10. Wow. 5/10, half a second. John Butler, no laps in practice here in the 09. The busy Watkins Glen International, yet Payson Liz, who just wrecked there. To the bus stop goes Cheery in the 29. Here comes TJ Moon as well for Fat and Friends United. And he's got my name on the back of the car. How about that? I remember he made this paint scheme when I was talking to him. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Thanks for including me.
Yeah, well, Landon was there too, I guess.
I guess.
Yep, I guess. Here goes Aiden Holmes. Up the hill to the S's. He's had a bit of a moment there. Aiden's got a great opportunity today to gain in the points. Payson Lindsay to the bus stop. Benson still so far top of the road. How about Kyron Wilson third? Still 5:37 left to go in qualifying. CJ Erdman now. Davian Tobin, told me he was going to be here tonight. I'm not really sure where he is. Here goes Matthew White down the front straightaway. Was second in practice. What can he do in qualifying? He's going to head back into 1. That lap time didn't really register anything, it looks like. Here's Benson still so far top of the board. Won the pole for the truck race, led 23 laps in that one. And then you all know what happened at the end of that one. My goodness. There's Cameron in the 8. Final corner for him. Here's Miller across the line. Now still Matthew White. Of course, like I said, no time on the board for him just yet.
Cameron's on the board and he'll get 4th.
All right, so, but still Bryce Benson top of the board. Here comes White. Final 2 corners. Down the front stretch he goes.
He'll be top of the board. Wow, what a
Wow.
lap.
Matthew White goes fastest. I want to see it real quick. And barely actually beats Bryce Benson. My goodness. That was close. Side by side, TJ Moon with Ashton Miller in the 79 car. Bryce Benson down the back straightaway. The bus stop he'll go. There's Cameron Chandler in the 8. Here's Cherry. He is a decent road course racer, of course. We'll see what he can do.
A lap for Cherries. Cameron's coming back across the line very loose off the exit. It probably hurt his lap. You see if his lap is a little worse. So still P5 for Cameron. As now Bryce Benson trying to try to recapture pole with Matthew White coming across the line. Does not improve. So right now Matthew White's still on top. Now in 3rd, Ashton Miller's coming across the line to see if he has. And no lap time. So we've seen over the past 2 nights of qualifying that over time the track does improve in qualifying. So we'll see if maybe someone like Bryce, Ashton, maybe in Payson or Cameron put down a fast lap and let Lovers from this go.
Bryce is really pushing. He was through the grass for a little bit there as he heads down the bus stop once again. But he's going to stop here, looks like, actually. Matthew White still so far top of the board. Benson 2nd, Miller 3rd. Chandler back there in P5 currently. Looking at the times, it's still just about.
And Cherry goes to 4th on his first lap to actually count. Here comes Matthew trying to improve, give himself more of a buffer as he blinks out, but he crosses the line. See if he improves at all. And no lap time. So, and here comes Cameron. He's 6th right now on the board. Probably a little bit underestimated what he thinks his lap time should be, and no lap time there. So, we're running out of time here, but remember, all you have to do is cross the finish line before the time runs out, and you can get that final lap.
I don't know if it's just me, but these cars look really unsteady under braking. Guys, is that actually what's going on?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I can tell. They look a lot harder to control under braking than the Grand National Series cars, and especially the trucks. Minute left to go in qualifying. You can remember, start your final lap right before time expires. You can finish it after time expires. Here comes Matthew White. I think he's going to have one more time here if this one isn't good. He's still the top of the board.
Here comes Bryce across the line. This will be his final lap. Just under a minute to go. So anybody crossing the line now, we'll go to the final lap.
I believe that was a warm-up lap for Benson. Here he goes back in a 1. Final time for pole.
This chance, basically clean track in front of him.
Bryce needs to do everything he can today to keep the regular season championship fight alive going to Daytona next week, but it'll be tough. Cameron Chandler. That was TJ Moonhard on the wall. Cameron Chandler is just about to lock it up.
Cameron went up to 3rd.
That's a good lap by that 8 car. He has now jumped Ashton Miller up to the 2nd row. Miller back to 4th.
And Payson goes up to 4th, improves by 2 spots.
Yeah, Miller gets pushed down the 5th. He's on his final lap. He's got to push. Let's lost 2 spots. Up the hill he goes through the yeses. Cherry now down the back straightaway in this 29 machine. White still, of course, top of the board. Time has now expired. Here comes Bryce Benson to the checkered flag, this time by. Will it be an improvement? Here he comes. Final corner. Down the front straightaway, coming to the checkered flag. Bryce Benson looking for a pole. Does he get it? It was so close on his first lap.
He does not.
He will be 2nd for now. That's the best he'll be. Here comes Matthew White. He's going to try to improve him this lap a little bit. He didn't the last few laps.
He does by 12 behind.
All right, that's
And
good
Cherry
news for him.
crosses the line, and Cherry goes up to third.
Wow. You said third?
Yeah, the third.
Cameron, oh, God. I don't think Cameron improved, did he?
No, he's saying he dropped the P4 because Cherry passed him. As Cole Clausen comes across the line, one of the final drivers right now, P10, see if he improves. And he does up to P8, so a couple extra spots. That's an extra row that he doesn't have to deal with. And CJ Owen, I've watched him, he did not cross the line in time, so this lap will not count, at least I'm pretty sure.
So Matthew White gonna be on pole after winning Grand National last night in that incredible fuel strategy race. We don't expect the same today. It's not really possible. What a pole lap it was for him. He will start first tonight. It was actually very close. Half a tenth between him and Bryce Benson at the front of the field. That is crazy. It is race number 17 of this Cup Series season, and qualifying has concluded. With White starting first, and on the front row with him will be Bryce Benson. Benton looking for a rebound after last week. Matthew White looking for his first win since Phoenix. I mean, so funny story here. Last season, I know it was earlier in the year, like around race 13, other than not race 17, of course. Matthew White had 2 wins, and he was on a pretty long winless streak. Last season, he won, I think, Kentucky, Sonoma. Earlier in the year was on like a 10-race winless streak. It's similar this season, after he won Phoenix and Richmond earlier this year. He won this race last year, of course. Now he's still going for 3 in a row after winning this in Season 3 as well. And then, after that, he turned it up. He won 8 races and nearly the championship. So, going back on pole here, who knows? As we welcome you live to the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series in Watkins, Glen. And Eli Franken, of course, me and him going to be doing radio style around the Glen tonight. Eli, can you bring us through a top 10 starting order here?
Yep, we'll do. As on the pole, Matthew White looking to get some momentum going into this race with only 2 races to go, going into a chase. And second on his outside is Bryce Benson, trying to keep the pace for that #1 spot in the points, trying to get a lot more extra bonus points after having that 20-point penalty. As in third is Cherry with really good qualifying effort. Cameron trying to lock it up tonight in P4. Pace the fifth, trying to just hang on. Who knows what the penalty again is for tomorrow for him, but trying to get enough points where if there is a penalty that maybe puts him back below the cut lines enough where he can still have a chance at Daytona. 6 Ashton Miller trying to get in the playoffs, trying to get in there. Kyron Wilson still on P7, good qualifying for him. Cole Clausen P8, Hunsinger 9th, and then John Butler that round out the top 10.
And this is crazy. No Sean Rowe, no Aiden Donahue today, no Trenton Wilkin, no Davian Tobin, no Sean Hillquich. I mean, man. No Andrew Stacy either, I believe. No Axel Smith, no Jacob Quayle. This is crazy.
Be pretty confident if this wasn't a road course.
I mean, Landon Johnson go for 2 wins in a row here tonight.
Oh,
in the Cup
yeah,
Series.
that's not going to happen. Need a 15-car crash.
I mean, you never know. 50 laps today here at the Glen tonight. Given to you radio style. Watkins Glen International. All right, cars will now roll off the grid. Been a really fun week so far around Watkins Glen. Of course, the truck race, like I said, on Tuesday. The Grand National Series was here on Wednesday last night. 2 really fun events. We're ready for the Cup race here on Thursday night with Matthew White starting first.
Hunsinger gave himself an EOL, I assume, because maybe neck with problems and very little practice here. So, because from 9th, I assume he's going to go to the back because neck with problems, obviously, and I think because of lack of practice, he just want to get anything involved early on, and maybe less practice is going to spend on anything around guys.
Yeah, of course, Braden is still looking for his first Cup win this season. Your defending series champion. This is now race 17. He is coming close to the longest winless streak in his career. I believe season 1, I think it took him till race 17. So if he doesn't win this week, he's going to probably break that record of the longest winless streak in his career after winning a championship. last season, of course. Choose cone will be after the carousel, and the bus stop, that'll be, of course, down the second short shoot back straightaway. If we need it, well, we will need it for the stage, but if we need it any other time, we don't know. Natural caution's not the most common thing here at Watkins Glen. We've only had one caution all week. No cautions in the truck race, only one caution for cause in Grand National. So we'll see what happens tonight in the Cup Series. We have one guaranteed caution at the end of lap 25 for the stage, 50 laps around the Glen. Race 17 of this season, 2 races before the chase. Daytona looming next week. We expect a lot of cars in that one, so that's a lot of chances to lose and gain points on other people. This could still be a good day for some drivers like Pace and Lindsay to try to extend their lead. Same thing with Ashton Miller. Aiden Hull's going to try to break inside of the chase today. We'll see if he can do it. We're just going to bring this one to you radio style here at the Glen like we do every season. With me and Eli Franklin sharing the racetrack. Matthew White, what a strategy call it was last night in the Grand National race that won him that one. Looking to go back-to-back on wins this week with Grand National and Cup. Looking for his 3rd Cup win of the season. All right, the pace car is going to pull down the pit road. It'll be Matthew White leading the field to the green with the 9 of Bryce Benton. Race 17 of the Cup Series season, our final road course of the year. 2 races before the chase. We are racing from Watkins Glen, New York. Back into turn 1 they go. Matthew White, not the greatest of jumps. Bryce Benton still 2 is outside. You get Cherry back there in 3rd. Everyone looks like they get away cleanly through turn 1. See Benton on the outside. He will get passed and cleared by Matthew White, who takes the lead. Side by side behind him, you see Chandler back to 4th, door to door with Kyron Wilson. What a great start for him with the 32 car, heading down the back straightaway for the opening time.
Yeah, early on here, it seems like everybody's throwing single file out. Some guys side by side in the back. You want to be single file through his bus stop. Matthew White, Bryce Benson, the 2 going through. Seems like everybody's single file out, close all the way through the grass here. We're going through the carousel here. Very important to be easier to follow here. Everybody's single file, starting to. The top 4 starting to pull away a little bit. That's just not the side here. Looks like Ashton Miller. It's not the side. Looks like he could come back easy.
Yeah, Matthew White now, of course, leads the race. Benson still is 2nd. Cherry actually got 3rd from Cameron Chandler. Back to 4th. Pace and Lindsay now running inside the top 5. Miller in P6. And here they come down the front straightaway. Opening time under speed. Matthew White is going to lead the opening lap of this race. Picks off right where he left off last night in the Grand National Series, where, by the way, didn't have the fastest car, but played the strategy perfectly. As they head back up out of turn 1, there is Cherry in the 29 behind him, Cameron Chandler. And a little bit further back, TJ Moon trying to have a good run. Braden Hunsinger already has passed a lot of cars. Heading up the S's, though, Chandler's got a little bit of I'm sorry, no, he doesn't. I thought he had a little bit of damage. I spoke wrong. Matthew White leads about a car length lead over Bryce Benson down the backstretch.
Yeah, top 4 staying pretty close to each other through lap 2 as we enter the bus stop here. Seems like everybody's doing very well so far through the bus stop. Looks like doesn't look like anybody's had any troubles with the bus stop so far. As we look back, seeing everybody make it through the bus stop as we now go through the carousel. Again, it's so far so clean so far for all these drivers as they enter that stretch. Well so far, it looks like Cameron has a little bit of run here on Cherry, see if he can make opportunity to pass the 3rd, as he does.
Yeah, Cherry kind of just let him go there, it looks like. Cameron Chandler now up to P3 in this race. Braden, I'm sorry, the 99 of Pace and Lindsay also back there trying to pounce for 4th now on Cherry. That's it all the way down to the low side. Thought he had an issue. Actually lost a couple of car lengths there to Matthew White as they come to lap 3. So, Landon Johnson, what's the fuel window looking like right now as we're under green?
25 lap.
What was it?
25.
All right, so right now, yeah, okay, so they're going to be able to make it to the end on the stage. So, but we could see people flip the stage where you pit right before the stage caution comes out if you don't want stage points.
Yeah, you could see that. I could expect that from guys like Cameron Chandler that basically have the 25 up going for wins. Looking through the bus stop here, top 2 really pulled away a little bit. Bryce Benson was on with the back by Matthew White and then got loose on the exit on the front stretch. He's been to catch up here with Matthew White. Matthew White's been clean early on the first 3 laps, and early on it looks like Cherry's starting to fall back maybe a little bit. I don't know if he's trying to save tires. He goes through the grass the slightest bit. Pace is trying to go into attack, but Matthew White trying to pull away just a little bit.
Yeah, White still, of course, leads this race. starting from pole. He hasn't really extended the gap that much over Benson the last couple of laps, but you just got to kind of cruise in line, got to ride along here early in the race at the Glen. It is a long race, 50 laps. And first stage is going to be the entire distance, like we said earlier, of the truck race. Matthew White's last 4 results at Watkins, or 5 results, all of his results at Watkins Glen have been second, first. Now he leads. Hasn't finished ever worse than second. Coming off back-to-back wins at this racetrack in Season 4 and Season 3. So,
we got a battle here. Payson lets Ashton really go to the bus stop. See how that goes. Looks like Ashton backs out of it. Maybe trying to set a run up after the bus stop. Let's see here. Payson still in front of Ashton, pulls a crossover. Very impressive. Payson goes a little wide, and Ashton Miller will go through and get it into the top 5. As we head through the rest of the second back straightaway, it seems like everything's good so far. The rest of the field seems to be close to single file.
Yeah, there's Cameron Chandler now running in 3rd. Looking a little bit further back, I want to look at Braden Hunsicker, currently running back in 9th. Has picked off a bunch of drivers, though, so far in this race. I believe all the way back to Landon Johnson, currently running in 16th. There in the 88. Once again, back down the front straightaway. Did we have someone not start the race? Not really sure.
Max he left.
Okay. So back up to the S as they go. Cameron Chandler has pressure now from Cherry. This battle for 3rd might be heating up pretty soon.
Yeah, it could be heating up pretty soon. Cherry let him go early on. Cherry's hanging right behind him, maybe trying to learn a little bit from him as we go through the bus stop here. The top 2 seem to be about the same, and then looks like Cherry's starting to gain a little bit through the grass here. But he had a really good bus stop there, close to the Cameron Chandler, just a little bit there. Let's see if he has a good run here through Harrisville, trying to get time. Cameron's a little loose there. Maybe I'm seeing Cherry that has some momentum here as we head back deep.
Yeah, I mean, Cherry is definitely closing that gap back up, riding along with Cameron Chandler, currently in 3rd. He is losing time to Benson, his teammate, in 2nd, and Matthew White, your leader for Highline Motorsports. White has led every lap so far as we come to lap 6 at the Glen. A little bit further back, Braden Hunsicker is starting to have actually pressure from John Butler behind him. Did see one damaged car back there. I'm not exactly sure who it was. Might have actually been TJ Moon.
Yeah, he sadly had a disconnect. I think he got a little bit damaged, and I think, oh, nice. We had to head back to the bus that Matthew White started to pull just a little bit of the bike spins. But again, it's early on. It's going to be saving stuff. Matthew White, good bus stop here. As everybody seems to be starting to spread out a little bit. As the 33 back here, Jay Quino spins out in front of everybody. Hopefully, gets out of the way. It looks like he will.
He is damaged. That's big damage. We got, Urban just missed the corner, by the way, on the back straightaway. 78 Aiden Holes to Clarino. He just reset back. That's unfortunate. Reset back to pit road. Here come your leaders once again. Back to the final corner. Matthew White up front. There's Cherry currently running in 4th place. Miller currently in P5. I believe Clarino, he isn't officially out of the race, but of course he's sitting there now with big damage on pit road on lap 7. As they head back into turn 1, White is beginning to try to extend his gap even more over Bryce Benson. Cameron Chandler is now kind of pulled away from Cherry. That gap, that threat, not really too big of a thing now as they head single file back up to the S's. Chandler 3rd, Benson 2nd, and White your leader.
Very clean so far. As seems like the top makes it pulled away, really. As very important for Pace to have a good day. As Cherry goes through the grass here, that's going to definitely be a slowdown penalty. Cherry might be able to get around him. That's a decent amount of slowdown penalty. See if he has to give it up here. Doesn't seem like he's really slowing down too much. Let's see if he does. I assume he's going to slow down here. He's going to have to, because that's a 5 second slowdown. See, there's a chance for Cherry, maybe even Ashton Miller to gain, as Ashton Miller starting to get on the back bumper of Cherry.
Yeah, this could be actually really good for Miller. He just closed that back bumper of the 29 and coming up to the 8 as well. Miller looks very quick as the run continues to go on. We got a car going way wide. That was Kyron Wilson. He loses some time.
Cherry lets Ashton out.
Cheery's now let 2 people behind Miller to 4th, and that 79 car looks very quick as they will go back into turn 1 on lap number 8. Chandler back still in P3. Matthew White just trying to control this field. He's going to hope that he can dominate this first stage, have a good pit stop. After that, I am interested to see who flips stage and who doesn't.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to also see who does that. I expect maybe guys on the cut line to stay out, get stage points. But you could see some guys flip the stage. Let's see, Matthew White, still on the full way sweet. Let's see, Cameron, well, Ashton's starting to close a little bit on Cameron here. As Payson's also catching on Cherry here, where Cherry let another guy by. We'll see here guys. Going down the second back stretch, it seems very clean so far. Probably the cleanest we had this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, the only wreck we had, I think, was Florino. A battle back here. Here comes Braden Hunsinger to the inside of Cole Clausen. This is for 8th. And he will make that spot stick, I think. Clausen going to try to fight back. Won't be able to do anything. John Butler now to the bumper with Clausen. They head back on the final corner. Butler could lock himself into the chase today. It would be his 3rd straight either playoff or chase appearance if he could do that. Heading back into turn 1, you see Clausen back on the bumper of Hunsicker. And here comes Butler, going to try to look to his inside. Going to be side by side, heading through the S's. Butler is there to his door to door through the S's. And Clausen going to re-clear it.
Yeah, back here. Ron Butler gets on the outside and passes Cole Clausen. But going back to the pit thing, these 3 guys that we're talking about, Cole Clausen locks the brakes up. Hunsinger had a bad start, starting in the back. He's going to be a guy that could have him clinch the playoffs. And he's looking for that win, so it'd be an opportunity to get possibly out front. Butler basically almost clinching. Cole Clausen not a full-time driver, so he could be one of the guys that possibly gets Cherry goes barely right, almost in the gravel.
Yeah, this is going to allow Pace and Lindsay to go by him and clear him for P5. Cherry has lost a bunch of spots as of late, and Cameron Chandler is now being run down by Ashton Miller for 3rd place here. Of course, with Watkins Glen this season being so late in the regular season, there's only 2 races to go for the chase this week and the next week in Daytona. There are a lot of drivers locked in. Of course, the first driver not locked in is 7th. I believe that is John Butler.
DJ Emmett spun out back here on the second back straightaway. I think he told his car might have got a little bit of damage and probably not enough for him to want to finish his race. As it looks like another guy's gone. We saw, I think, like 6 guys get out early on the race, which is very surprising for a road course. As we head back, Cameron Chandler is starting to get some pressure on him. Ashton Miller. Ashton's run some really good laps and gained a lot of position. All right, he has been. See how much he has gained. 2 spots from the restart, about trying to get 3 10 laps in, so about almost halfway from stage 1.
Yeah, Chandler now still in 3rd. There's Miller. So, I mean, with this small field count and people DNFing, even if you do flip the stage, enough drivers do it. We can see people flipping the stage, get stage points still. That's something you got to keep in mind. As they go back into turn 1, there is Miller behind Cameron Chandler, who goes pretty wide. That's going to lose Cameron some time. Miller will be coming to the run, heading back up to the S's. He also got Cherry, who's back on the bumper of Pace and Lindsay in this battle for what is 5th place. Back up to the S's and down the backstretch again.
Ashton's coming close a little bit more. I think he's close enough to put maybe a little bit of a break-in, so maybe not pass him, but put some pressure here on Cameron Chandler. As we go through the bus stop, Ashton Miller sideways. Will he save it? He hits the wall. I don't know if that's going to be a lot. That's a decent amount of damage. As Pace and Lindsay's trying to catch to him. And Ashton, I think he said race done. It looks like the toe links might be broken, that thing. So his day could be over. The left front looks awful.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, Ashton Miller, if you're him, you just cannot do that on lap 11. That's just, wow, that is shocking. Unbelievable. What happens now? He's going to go off the racetrack here. You will let Payson go with Cherry. That's just so unfortunate for Ashton Miller. Had so much pace in that race car. And here he comes coming to pit road. That, oh, man. Will this be race over? I don't really know. Wow. Well, that changes everything now for the chase. What will happen then? We'll see. Here comes Miller slowly down to pit road with that damage. Nothing he can do now. Cheery now back in the bumper of Pace and Lindsay. This is, well, now actually the battle for 4th place after Miller now goes into the wall. So unfortunate on lap 12.
Yeah, Cherry's starting to gain some time back on Pace after having that wide exit. Maybe, I don't know if this opportunity to pass, but definitely closed on him. As Bryce Benson's starting to close the gap here on Matthew White. He's slowly closing. He lost a little bit early on, and Bryce is starting to gain a little bit back here. Maybe in a couple laps we'll see a battle for the lead.
And we will see as they go for the lead. Matthew White is at every lap so far. I do want to check on Ashton Miller. There he is, currently sitting in the pits with damage. That is just so unfortunate for the driver of the 79 car. Exactly what you cannot see if you're Ashton Miller. Here comes White. Down the front straightaway. We'll go to lap Miller. Of course, is in the pits. I mean, if I'm Ashton, I would want to continue because, or did he? Did he just?
Yeah, he's not gonna.
Oh.
No, he's on track now.
All right, he actually did repair some damage. As you can see, he's going to stay on the lead lap. And, by the way, he does have fresh tires. So this might not actually be the worst thing in the world if he can manage this. If the damage isn't too bad.
Yeah, he needs to pass. Lane Johnson's just ahead. He needs to pass him because I assume Matthew White and Bryce Benson's been getting really close now, but I assume then too will be a lap down as long as Ashton passes Lane Johnson. As once the stage ends, he can possibly get a lap back. So he goes through the grass here. We gotta watch the leaders here, see how they get around him. It looks like they'll try to get on the inside. It's gonna be an opportunity for Bryce Benson to have a run here. See if he can pass this. Ashton's gonna let them both off.
Miller now goes a lap down, side by side. Benson gets clear on Miller. Now Benson heating up to the bumper of Matthew White. Battle is on for the race lead. They're beginning to catch some more lap traffic. White is not slow. I mean, these two are definitely pulling away from Cameron Chandler behind them. Easily probably the two favorites for the win so far. Back into turn 1 they will go. Benson's still not close enough to try to make a move. Of course, Miller, the damage doesn't look horrible now. He's kind of kept pace with them after having that big moment. There's Landon Johnson coming through the S's here. This is exactly where you don't want to catch a lap car for your Matthew White. Oh, this is going to be terrible for him. This is going to allow Benson to try to have a run.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for Bryce Benson to have a run here. So he might look on the inside here. He's looking, I don't know if he might, I think he's going to stay behind him through the braking zone here as goes through the braking zone, trying to hang on as Ashton Miller gets past Lane Johnson. So that'll be for the free pass, which is very key for him to have a chance of it. Looks like it'll be probably only caution for today. As we look through the rest of the field, we have Hunsinger going the inside of Wilson here, going through the field, trying to get the 6, has to stay behind him. See if he can through the bus stop here. He can maybe go for the inside, looking, maybe try to cross over. And he's going to try to get look to the inside, but Kyle Wilson's blocking very well.
And he's back to his bumper once again, but up front for the lead. It is still Matthew White leading, coming to lap 15 this time by at Watkins Glen. But Bryce Benson, he is there. Put the pressure back to the bumper of the 7 car. Season has been for Bryce Benson. Unfortunate big penalty last week, lost 20 chase points, got disqualified after the Southern 500, but he is back, and now battles on for the race lead in Watkins Glen. For the first time all day, Matthew White almost starting to struggle a little bit. Back up through the S's they go. Benson looking to close, might have a run coming back down this backstretch.
Battle for the lead, definitely tighten up here. Bryce Benson trying to put some pressure on that guy. Maybe trying to get into a few mistakes through the bus stop. Very easy opportunity to go for the bus stop. As Matthew White goes a little rod here, chance for Bryce Benson to close a little bit more. As we look a little far in the back, as we almost between Hunsinger, Wilson, and Butler going for the bus stop. Don't want to be side by side for here. See how this goes. As it looks like Wilson will let him go as Hunsinger gets up to 6th, which is it's up very well early on as Butler's go wide here, trying to get by Wilson as we go back to the lead. Ben's trying to get him.
Yeah, this battle back here is pretty crazy. Like you said, Braden Hunsinger up to P6. Would have been P7 if Miller didn't have that incident. Miller, though, still is your first car lap down in the 79, and he is holding not too bad pace. They go back into turn 1. Here comes Bryce Benson all over the back bumper of Matthew White. He goes wide, maybe loses a half a car length there, but still the pressure is on for the race lead. 10 laps to go in the stage. Will Matthew White pit to flip the stage? I don't know. Bryce Benson will see if he can do that, but he still isn't technically in that battle for the regular season title.
to head back. There's another lap, but not too far ahead, Zane Ramon. So Ashton Miller needs to stay close enough to where he can pass him. I think he will. Still have, I think, 10 laps to go. So we'll see. As Bryce Smith goes rash a little bit, trying to gain some time. But it's been pretty even the past 3 laps, basically, for Ben, trying to stay with Matthew White, trying to get by him. But we'll see as Bryce Smith goes a little wide here, trying to get as much momentum as possible. As we look a little farther back, it looks like Wilson and Butler trying. Butler's trying to get by as they exit the bus stop, trying to get by him for P7. Butler close to clinching the playoffs. He should, if he gets a little bit of stage points and finishes well tonight, should be clinching in Daytona, which is a long one.
I mean, it was just an incredible start to the race for that 32 of Kylan Wilson. He's running better than he usually does in Grand National, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. Competition is harder here in the Cup Series, even though the field isn't exactly the biggest today. Back up to the S as they go. Matthew White is actually starting to extend his gap a little bit over Bryce Benson yet again. Starting to get some breathing room. The 7 car looked like the last couple of corners he has begun to pull away from the 9 of Bryce Benson and maybe giving himself a nice gap here.
Yeah, going back through the bus stop, Matthew White actually was 2/10 faster that lap, so maybe his car's doing a lot better here in the long run. Maybe Bryce Benson struggle a bit here on this long run. It'd be interesting. Is it worth getting a stage point here, a playoff point? Well, it could be called a chase point for these guys that one of the top 2, 1 fifth, but 1 come in. I assume these guys maybe like 5th and back. What they have to lose at the stage point. I mean, you're here to win the race at this point. As your stage points will really help you a lot going into this chase, unless you're not clinched. As we head back almost to the start and finish line, Matthew White's going to play a little bit.
Yeah, battle is still on here between Kylan Wilson and the 09 of John Butler. These two are just going at it. Currently for 7th. My goodness. The 09 of Butler still behind Kylan Wilson. But the pressure is still on. Here he goes, Butler to the outside. Looks in the final corner. Look for a crossover move. He will get almost sideways, heading back down the front straightaway. He's got to run. He's going to try to go to the long way around to the outside. Almost gets put into the grass. He's going to now look to the inside. Will they be braking be enough? No. He's going to have to stay in line. He lets his teammate lets him go. Landon Johnson back there, and Butler's going to fight back. Almost contact. Battle for P7. Back up to the S's. Stu racing absolutely really hard with each other. Butler, a veteran in the Cup Series. Kylan Wilson, his first ever start.
Yeah, very impressive here by Kylan Wilson. He has had a great start here. Ran nationally, ran a little worse, to be honest, than he did. And he has a lot of expectations here tonight. Very good, seems like a very good road course race. Which exiting the bus stop, pretty good exit for the bus stop for him. John Butler is trying to get by him, but hey, Wilson's doing very good. As Hunting goes on the pull A little bit, trying to get down Cherry. Still a long way to go for him. As Ashton Miller is trying to get by Zane Ramon here for the free pass.
This is kind of a mess down the front straightaway. You see Ramon, he has damage now. Miller's going to get lapped by the 99 of Payson Lindsay. He goes back down to the inside. You get Cherry back there as well. Going back into turn 1, you see Miller gets passed by the 99 car. Lindsay goes wide, he slides. Ramon is slow. He's actually going to let them all go, and Miller will get the free pass back. Now Miller kind of stuck in the middle of between the 99 and the 29 of Cherry, heading back down the back. Oh, he gets contact there with Cherry. Gets moved out of the way.
Out of the way there as we head back to the bus stop. Cherry, it's been for a while on the back bumper, facing Lindsay. Go through the bus stop here. Can Cherry get in the top 5? Remember, he's not full time, so he could be a guy that flips the stage. We're not too far away from seeing these guys flip the stage. Cherry trying to get a run here for the second backstretch, trying to get momentum on Payson Lindsay. Doesn't seem like he's going to have any. There's a battle here between John Butler and Wilson. John Butler on the outside, trying to go the long way around here in the second backstretch, trying to get a run here. Doesn't seem like he's going to have enough, but he's trying to stand on his outside, and it's not enough.
Whoa!
And he's very loose. What a great save by him. Lose a little bit of time to Wilson, but best thing, saves the race car.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of good battles going on the racetrack. Just had one to believe this one is just incredible currently for P7. And then you got Payson Lindsay battling now.
Cherry loose. Yeah, looks
like
he might have
in the wall. He has damage.
Ashton Miller. I don't think it's as bad as Ashton Miller, but battling with Payson Lindsay now, seems to be out of contention with battling for Payson Lindsay. Now, this would be a great time for him to flip the stage after that.
Yeah, we'll see. He does have that damage. The wheels seem kind of sensitive to damage.
Enter back. Kyle Wilson, John Bell. It's been a battle. John Bell's looking to the inside here. He ultimately stays behind him. He's been very conservative through this bus stop, staying behind Wilson and opportunity to go side by side. A little early on stage 1, I understand, as Butler, he's just trying to find a way. Butler seems to be slightly faster, but it's really turn 1's really only breaking points where he can lose. Wilson gets a little loose there. Butler maybe he's looking maybe inside, trying to get by, but Wilson's still protecting the inside, trying to hang on.
Yeah, what a great battle back here. 5 laps to go in the stage this time by Matthew White. I think it's still extended his gap over Bryce Benson. That gap has been pretty even the last few laps or so. Got a car pitting. Here comes Cherry. Coming out pit road. Here comes Butler looking to the inside of Kylan Wilson. Gonna be door to door heading back into turn 1, but Cherry that first car maybe to flip the stage, trying to repair some damage. Butler going back to the outside again on Kylan Wilson. Wilson will go wide. Butler again looks to the inside. Going to be door to door heading through the S's. Side by side. Someone's got a lift here. It might not be either of them. Still door to door through these S's. Butler on the outside loses a lot of momentum there. Has to back out of the gas, and Wilson now has a good gap.
Yeah, Wilson did a very good job there, just holding on because he had the preferred lane for the S's. When you have preferred lane for the S's, Doug has to back off. Also, probably going to hit the wall. Go for the bus stop here. Wilson, I think he's in the top 5 now, which is a very impressive day. I don't know if it counted Cherry or not. No, it didn't. So Wilson at 6, very impressive day so far. Man, he's not full time. He could flip the stage. If you look up front, it seems like everybody's staying out. Cherry's back on the track here, so he will probably get stage points, but ultimately trying to flip the stage.
Here's Matthew White, still a good gap. There's Cameron Chandler running currently in 3rd. Payson Lindsay currently in 4th. Ashton Miller, he does actually have more damage than earlier. Currently, though, runs in P5 there. Is Zane Ramon, another car, a lap down. P6 right now, P5 right now, I'm sorry, is actually Braden Hunsicker after some other cars pitted. Battle for what is 6th, but pit strategy is going to kind of change that up a little bit between Kylan Wilson and the 09 of John Butler. Heading back up the hill, Wilson's got a bit of a better gap over Butler. And looks to maybe finish the stage ahead of him.
Last chance for these guys if they want to come down and flip the stage. Just the last chance as Matthew White goes through. Could this be, you see them pit here? I don't know. If one pits, I assume the other one will stay out. Let's see, is Matthew White, he's going to stay out. Bryce Benson's going to stay out. Let's see if Cameron Chandler decides to pit. Again, he's basically locked in. Could he pit and go for the win? I assume he might stay out here. We'll see. As he's going to stay out, that's kind of surprising to me. I expect these guys to hit. I assume Hunsinger is going to pit.
Lindsay's coming.
Lindsay's coming, and the guy on the cut line coming down pit road, so points maybe not important as himself thinks, as he's probably trying to go for the win. But he probably will get stage points at the end of the day as Kyle Wilson goes by to see if he pits. He's going to stay out and John Butler, so only 2 guys are going to flip the stage.
Here comes Payson Lindsay down pit road to pit road speed. Definitely don't want the speed here at a road course. He's going to come down pit road to get his service for fresh Goodyear tires. As much fuel as he needs at the end of the race. Of course, flipping the stage, that means he's going to stay out for the restart after the stage happens. So we have 3 laps to go to the stage. So White and Benson have one more shot here to pit. Everyone else is going to be done. Here comes Matthew White. Goes wide. We'll see if he comes. Benson may be behind him. Who knows? If I was Benson, I would pit here. And he is. Here comes Bryce.
He is.
He'll be the final one to make its pit road entry. Barely does that as White closes pit road with 2 to go. Here comes the 9 of Benson. Cameron Chandler will, of course, stay out. He will assume 2nd place.
Payson Lindsay be reaching Cherry out pit road by a lot, so I guess Cherry stay a little longer to maybe fix some damage. But he'll probably restart 2nd as Payson will be right now. If he stays out in the stage, will ultimately be the leader, as he's still going to get stage points for him, which is very crucial for him, just barely above the cut line. But ultimately, he's probably going to lose about 3 or 4 points that he could have gained.
Here is Bryce Benson getting for fresh Goodyear tires on his race car. And he will roll off pit road. So if you're a guy like Benson or Lindsay, 2 Team Chevy Motor Club cars, actually all the Team Chevy Motor Club cars, all the cars, I'm sorry, that stayed out were pitted were Team Chevy Motor Club cars. Here's Cole Clausen. You do want to take care of your stuff here coming to the end of the stage because you don't want to, have it burnt up. Matthew White, though, elects to stay out. He's going to come to 1 to go in the stage this time by as your leaders. Led every lap so far in this race starting on pole. Been the fastest car, but after other drivers flip the stage, how will this work out for him? 1 lap to go here in the stage. And especially Bryce Benton. Bryce looked pretty quick as Aiden Holes gets out of the way. Ooh, this is actually really bad news for Ashton Miller, by the way. Aiden Holes is now your first car lap down. Wow. How about that? Miller is going to, I don't know what he's going to have to hope for now. Wow, that is unfortunate for this driver of the 79 car. This could be disastrous now. Oh, no, Matthew White is oh, this is good teamwork. He's going to let Aiden Holes go. But Holes doesn't, I don't know. Okay.
I mean, he has a very, very large gap, so, I mean, he could just stay behind him and get his teammate back on the lead lap, which is a very smart thing by him. Trying to do as Aiden Holes, I don't know if he's trying to let him by again so he can not let his teammate get the free pass. Valve, who can be the slowest, I see, as Cameron's now exiting the bus stop. He's not going to ultimately catch Matthew White, but going back to end the stage here, Matthew White, great opening stage so far. Hopefully he can carry us over to the end of the race. And as Aiden Holes goes wide, we'll see if Matthew White's going to slow really down to let him go. Stay in front of him to ultimately stand the lead lap.
Yeah, Matthew White will come off the final corner, leads every lap on the first stage to the green white checker flag. It'll be a chase point. Very slow down the front straightaway as, oh, Aiden Holes, my goodness, what is he doing? Okay, we're going to throw the yellow because he's kind of causing some things. Matthew White will win this stage. Cameron Chandler will be second. Third across the line, it's going to be Braden Hunsicker if some cars stay out. And Ashton Miller will get the free pass from this. Hunsicker now will come across the line to finish P4 in the stage. Here comes Kylan Wilson. He is going to finish, Wilson actually finishes 4th in his first ever Cup Series stage. John Butler will be 5th in the stage here. Bryce actually got back all the way to 6th. Lindsay is going to be eventually 7th. Eighth will be Clausen, I believe. 9th should be Cheery, and I think 10th going to be Aiden Holes, but here they come. Clausen, of course, going to stay out yet again. They're coming to the checkered flag technically here in the chase. Caution was called early because Holes is basically stopped on the racetrack. And Holes still technically has to kind of finish the stage himself. All right, but Matthew White wins the stage here in Watkins Glen. How is that going to play out for the rest of this race for him? Will the slightly fresher tires matter? Who knows? And finally looking for the pace car. There he goes. Finally comes back onto the track. All right, that took a little bit, but Matthew White's going to have to, I think, slow down for the pace car here. I'd assume so. Yep. All right. Well, halfway break. We'll be right back in Watkins Glen. Alrighty, as we once again welcome you back live to the NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series at Watkins Glen International. So Cole Clausen, we're going to check in with you. Gained some spots there, but there was some people flipping the stage. So what ultimately were your thoughts on the first stage of this race?
Yeah, it was pretty normal, kind of what I expected. Unfortunately, I did hit the wall twice. I think Glen and Johnson might have gotten a front row view of it, and so I got a bit of wheel damage. So gonna try to get that repaired. Hopefully they don't make it 1 to green, and Yeah, but so far I'll take 8th despite the low car count.
You're coming to the pit stops here. You're going to see Benson, Cheery, and Lindsay should all stay out, but here come the rest of the leaders. Halfway break pit stops here. Everyone should be good to the end here. Of course, Benson can be the first car to stay out. Will this strategy work? Actually, Cheery will pit, so he's going to come down a second time. Free pass will be given to Ashton Miller. All right. And here they come. Leaders on pit road. Here at Watkins Glen. So the caution car took a little bit of extra time getting up there, so we do have an extra lap, I think, added here under caution. But anyways, 4 fresh Goodyear tires for all your leaders, full of Sunoco fuel to make it to the end of the race here. Battle of pit road. Hunsaker got a really decent stop here. Matthew White will win the race off pit road. Chandler will be second. Braden almost beat him. He'll be third. Butler will be fourth. Fifth will be he beats Kylan Wilson here to fifth. I think these other drivers back here getting damage repair, of course. Benson and Lindsay both stay out after flipping the stage. Will this be the right strategy call? We will see. All right. Well, ready for the second half here in Watkins Glen. Should hopefully be a fun one. We're going to have to see what happens here. Benson, will he be able to hold on for the win? Will this be the right strategy call? We'll see. Flipping the stage, but remember, fresher tires behind him. How much do tires mean? That's the big question here. So, Eli, if you had to guess, do you think tires will mean a lot here, even if it's only like 4 or so laps?
In my opinion, I don't think it's going to matter too much. I think track position more important. If it's like, it was like 10 laps, I think it would matter a lot more, but I don't think that will matter too much. They should have enough fuel to make it to the end, so they should have enough savings. So it's a great idea by them to flip the stage and try to do something to beat Matthew White.
Yeah, we'll see. White will restart in the third. We'll also see what happens on the choose next time by. We're going to come to the one to go this time by. Of course, they will choose on the second back straightaway, the short chute. Ashton Miller, for some reason, decided last night he was going to read our thing wrong, and he decided that the choose cone for Grand National would be at the carousel. So I don't really know what he was thinking there. He was of course yelled at the end of the race, being our admin. But here comes Benson. I guess they're choosing now. Okay. I don't know why, but all right. Here comes the damaged Ashton Miller back on track in the 79 car. Same thing with Cole Clausen. He prepared some damage, and Cheery rolling back at the racetrack. All right, so ready for the restart, though. I guess they already chose. Okay, down the front stretch. So they chose that. I guess they decided that was better. We're going to restart on lap 30. It'll be 21 laps to go still. This caution took a little bit longer than we expected. So we did lose some time, some laps here. We're well over halfway in the race. I mean, it is crunch time now. Even though the stage just ended. Can Matthew White get around both Lindsay and Benson? He's been the fastest car all race. He's led most of the laps, won the stage, of course. Started on pole. But he did have pressure from Benson earlier, pulled back away from him. He still looks like he's got the fastest car, but isn't enough to repass the 9 on those slightly older tires after he flipped the stage. How will the aggression level be back there? We'll see. We're actually waiting on some more cars to catch back up there. There is the 71. There's the 79 and Miller. They should be there in time, I think. Miller, of course, gets back on the lead lap. They were all, in fact, on the lead lap. All right. Well, here we go for the restart. We'll be on lap number 30. Here comes Miller. There comes the 71 of Clausen. Should get there in time. Team Chevy Motor Club on the front row. Both those drivers slipping the stage here. Will Ashton Miller be able to gain spots back there? We'll see. Maybe Cheery as well. All right. Second half here it's well underway already, but the first green flag laps of the second half are about to start. Slightly older tires after flipping the stage on the front row. Will they be enough to hold on and maybe win the race? Who knows? Bryce is very quick. Here they come, back to the green flag. That was a good start by Matthew White in second. Here he is to the inside of Payson Lindsay, but Bryce Benson got away nicely. Side by side, heading back at a 1. Here comes White to the inside on Benton. There's contact. Oh, there's contact again. Payson Lindsay spins nearly into the wall. He gets back going again, but Cameron Chandler drove right into the back of him, and Cameron has a little bit of damage now. He lets the 09 of Butler go, and he's side by side with Kylan Wilson.
Great battles all around as we headed back to the backstretch. Cameron is Aiden Holt trying to get on his inside now as he's going to fall behind. Cherry trying to get by now. If Aiden Holt, it looks like someone missed the bus stop. I don't know who that was. It looks like Cole Clausen missed the bus stop there as he's going to go for might have a slowdown penalty. But Cameron is definitely struggling so far as Wilson goes by him and Hudson goes to third, which is very surprising for him as Cameron's trying to get his spots back.
Yeah, Cameron completely. Oh, we get a spinner. Payson Lindsay again goes around into the wall for the second time. He's going to get fired back up again and get rolling again, it looks like. But man, unfortunate there for Cameron Chandler as well. Ran straight into the back, lifted his teammates' wheels up, and here he goes back to the inside on Kylan Wilson. Side by side, trying to regain this spot. Yeah, that was wild. Now Matthew White behind Bryce Benson. Is this gap going to be able to close up? Can Matthew White rerun down the 9, or is the 9 strategy going to be enough to win the race? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see here. Cherry's very loose exiting, trying to get by Wilson. If we get that, Bryce Benson, you gotta remember, Bryce Benson stayed up the same gap with Matthew White. His tires don't really matter too much. Track position matters more. As hopefully Bryce Benson, maybe the tires later than like near the end. I think early on the tires will probably stay even with Matthew White. Track position matters a lot. Clean air matters a lot. John was inside the top 5. Very great night for him. Cameron Chandler tried to run him down as we got a battle with Cherry and Wilson.
You know, Cherry to the outside. Chandler had a big moment there. Wilson takes that spot back. Oh, Wilson goes way wide. Nearly to the gravel there. He'll lose that spot easily to Cherry. As they get ahead down the front straightaway, the gap up front between Benson and White is still, I guess, about the same. White had a huge time bump, of course, in the restart. Back into turn 1. I think he's probably regretting that now. Back up to the S as they go. White still behind that 9 of Benson. The gap about maybe half a second. Matthew, though, remember, was quicker on the very long run, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, we'll see what they'll do. Bryce Benson's starting to pull away just a little bit. Matthew White's the end of the bus stop. Hunsinger staying not too far back, so if these front two start battling, Hunsinger could definitely gain as Matthew White trying to just slowly get into the sleep. We still have a long way to go to the end. 17 laps for a road course, which is a little bit longer, but for the Glen, maybe a little shorter compared to most road courses. As we now head down the second back stretch. Now it looks like everybody's starting to spread out a little bit as we go back down to the front stretch.
Yeah, leaders will head it back through the final corner. Got 18 laps to go this time by. That still is a while here at Watkins Glen International. Can Bryce Benson hold on? But I want to give a shout out to John Butler. What an incredible restart he had. Got a spot on pit road and then gained a spot, a couple of spots here on the racetrack, and he's up to P4. How about that? Really impressed by the driver of the 09, looking to lock himself into the chase after today. Now Benson. And that gap, Eli, can you maybe try to look at the lap times and what these two are running?
Yeah, Bryce Benson actually gained some against Matthew White there on that flat. And Cameron Chandler ran about the same time compared to Matthew White. So Cameron Chandler definitely didn't lose a lot of pace compared when he got that damage. As going to gain here on John Butler and maybe Hunsinger.
Matthew White in the 7 definitely looks loose. And he is pushing that car. He's got to be careful on those tires, but because I think there will be an advantage for him as this run continues to go on, but we'll just have to wait and see. But, oh, remember Matthew White, he does have a little bit of damage. I didn't even realize that on the, I believe it's the left side core panel. On the back of the race car, it is crushed in a little bit. I mean, at a road course, doesn't matter that much. And Watkins got a little bit more maybe because it's so high speed. But will that be affecting Matthew White? We'll see. As they head up to the S's yet again. Benson still leads 17 laps to go. And it looks like the gap actually extended a little bit for Benson.
The gap's going to go a little bit, but here comes Cameron Chandler on John Butler. Trying to get his spot. Butler's in the grass here. Cameron can take the opportunity to go through the bus stop and have a good exit, try to cross him over here. Go through the bus stop. Butler goes a little wide. This is Chandler's chance here. Goes wide. Cameron trying to go inside, but it's ultimately not close enough as Cameron, again, trying to get back up here for the opportunity if maybe these front two guys started the battle. Trying to get what he did
The
Truck Series.
carousel, Ashton
trying to
Miller
win.
goes around.
And we're looking, Ashton Miller, like he said, goes around. Seems to be going to get it back going, so he should be fine. As we look, it's going to battle. Here comes Cameron.
Yeah, Chandler close to the Butler. It's been a pretty bad night for Ashton Miller. It's been continuing on, not what he needs in the points, but here comes Cameron Chandler. Down the front straightaway on John Butler, battle for P4. Butler still having such a great run. Hunsicker almost trying to run down Matthew. No, actually, Matthew White pulled away from Hunsicker, I'm sorry, but this is the real battle right now for P4 between the 09 and the 8. Butler and Chandler back up the hill through the S's. Chandler is definitely a lot quicker than this 09, but it has been pretty difficult to pass like we've seen so far today.
Yeah, very difficult to pass so far as Richard Cherry's on pit road. I don't know if he had damage or he's doing pit stop. I couldn't tell you. Very unscheduled pit stop though for him. As we look, top two start to pull away from Braden Hunsinger in third, trying to pull away, make it a two-car battle for this win. It's been, again, faster lap times than Matthew White, which I did not expect. I expect maybe White to have a little bit faster lap times at this point. Maybe not enough to have to pass him quickly, but still, Bryce Benson's doing very good with his fresh air.
Yeah, I don't know if Matthew White's regretting not flipping the stage there. Who knows? I mean, we'll see. Maybe the next 10 or so laps if he blows anything up. I don't really know, but Matthew White, at least now, probably regretting not flipping it. As they head back into one, he isn't really gaining or losing anything. Here we go, battle between Butler and Chandler. Back into turn one they go. And it seems like when Chandler, of course, drives up to the back of John Butler here, it's just so hard to get around him. He's definitely a lot quicker, but he just can't find a way around this dirty air. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the dirty air, maybe it's something else. Something with this race car not allowing him to get around the 09.
Yeah, you also remember he had a little bit of damage there, so maybe if he gets closer, if the dirty air makes it even worse for him. To go through the bus stop here. Matthew White still about the same, but John Bell a little wide here. Cameron's trying to make up, but still, John Bell has had a very good second part of this second half of this race. I think he's the top 5. That would definitely bring him to the playoffs. Don't have to worry about Daytona. He's going for a win there in that one in Daytona. As Cameron again trying to catch up, but I think the damage is starting to hold him up a little bit.
Yeah, Chandler still back there in 5th. White is almost closing the gap up a little bit for the lead. This looks like he's getting closer. Eli, can you tell us the lap times across the line?
Yeah, see, Matthew White was 2/10 faster. So maybe it looks like maybe Bradley Spencer maybe had a little bit of a mistake there. As Matthew White gains a little bit in turn 1.
He's coming. I mean, it's not over yet. Still 14 laps to go. Cameron Chandler, he's just all over the back bumper of this 09 car, pushing as hard as we can. I mean, we're not giving enough Butler enough credit here. He does have a lot of pace now in this 09. This is actually really impressive. He's not definitely known as a road course racer, so this is pretty impressive by John Butler as they head down the backstretch.
Now going through the bus stop here, John Butler has had a very good day so far. Trying to stay in front of Cameron, which would be very impressive for him. Like, probably something that he'll keep for a while, being Cameron Chandler at a road course. As we look up front, Matthew White's trying to close a little bit more. Seems like it's still the same though from last time. Bryce Benson goes through. Matthew White maybe a little wide there.
Yeah, White is definitely really pushing that race car to its absolute limits, and I think he might have lost it sometime this time by, if we're not mistaken. We'll see.
Yeah, Bryce had a gain of about 10th and a half there.
Yeah, I mean, just mistakes White is starting to make. He's starting to slip up just a little bit behind that 9 car, trying to run him down, but actually Benson again still trying to pull that gap away. I don't know who's in the wall there a little bit. I think Matthew might have hit the wall, if not mistaken. Let's actually take a look.
Yeah, it was very close. If he did,
Oh, he
if
did.
he did, he's still that's gonna hurt him even more. A little bit of damage already had. That's a little bit more added to him. Bryce Benson and Matthew White. If you listen, Matthew White is really going through the grass. That will 100% be a slowdown for Matthew White. He is slowing down right now. That's going to let Punts gain on him and Bryce Benson to pull away through the second backstretch. Maybe Matthew White probably already did his kill. He's on. I think here, the second backstretch just flip a little early and let the time clear. As John Bell is pulling away from Cameron Taylor.
And Benson now trying to pull away from Matthew White. Coming at 12 to go this time by. I think Bryce Benson may have the greatest crew chief on the planet. I don't know how he does it. Every single week, I feel like lately, he's not the fastest car, and then all of a sudden he finds himself up front late in the going. 12 laps to go here in Watkins Glen. Matthew White still isn't done. That slowdown didn't cost him too much. He was oh, he's loose again. He is just pushing that thing. But remember, as the run got really long last time, White was able to close that gap up. I'm sorry, White was able to pull away from Benson. We'll see if that happens this time. This time, I know Matthew White desperate for a win.
Yeah, going back through the bus stop. Bryce Benson was 2 tenths quicker that lap compared to Matthew White. Matthew White goes through the grass again. He goes very wide. He is struggling for this bus stop the past 2 laps. That was a slowdown that time, but definitely go through the grass the past 2 laps. Looks like that car is starting to lose its angle and that damage he has already. As we look a little farther back, again, we can't explain enough how well Connor Wilson's done today in P6. Trying to maybe get a top 5 of these guys maybe has a mistake. 8 holes in 7th, Cole Clausen 8. Mason's still inside the top 10, still got a good decent point today for him. But again, looks like Matthew White maybe gained a little, maybe lost a little bit. Lost some line here, check lap times. Matthew White gained about 5/1000, so about same lap time.
Yeah, I mean, he is just trying everything he can. 11 laps to go at Watkins Glen International. I don't know it's going to be enough, though, for the 7 to close up. At this rate, it will obviously not be enough. Not even close than enough. Benson just trying to pull. Oh, we're having a blinking issue here. Benson just trying to pull away once again, trying to go back to him. White is now blinking. Dude, he's really blinking now. Oh, and he's sideways!
Oh, he joins
what?
back sideways. He is having a blinking fest, but looks like after all that blinking, he might got a little bit of speed boost apparently. He's starting to gain a little bit here, Bryce Benson.
Bryce is still, of course, your leader, but remember, the tires are just a little bit older. It's fitted before the stage, flipping the stage. So, who knows? It's not over until it's over. Coming to 10 laps to go. This time by at Watkins Glen International for Bryce Benson. Of course, won the Southern 500 on track last week, and then, of course, got disqualified. Lost 20 chase points by doing that. He's probably not going to be able to hold on to the regular season championship battle no matter what, because Cameron Chandler is still running in P5. He should be able to lock that up after today in the 8 car. Cameron has actually lost time to John Butler. That's interesting. John is at great pace. I'm impressed.
Yeah, John's had a really good day so far. For a road course, we did not expect this of him. As go back to fight for the grass again. I mean, his car is very much struggling, but again, he gained lap time last time by, but not a lot. He gained some lap time after those mistakes through the bus stops. If he left the bus stop, I think he gained a little bit of time.
He's got to push, though. He's got to get there on the night of Bryce Benson if he wants to have a chance at this win.
He definitely closed this time by.
Yeah.
He's definitely in reach now.
He's coming. He is quick. This 7 car, he is going to the max. He is close to these walls. Matthew White absolutely on the throttle, trying to get there to Bryce Benson. He is so hungry for a victory. Hasn't won since Phoenix and looking for 3 in a row at this racetrack. Is the handling in the 9 car starting to go away with its tires? This is the time that things start to change. Who knows? 9 laps remaining at the Glen. Benson still has that clean air, remember. but Matthew White trying to go in his tire tracks to, oh, and Benton in the wall! That was a big shot there. He'll lose time, heading down the max straightaway. Here comes Matthew White.
And Matthew White was 0.3 quicker that lap, and Bryce Benson had an issue there. Oh, and here comes Matthew White all over the back bumper here. Bryce Benson trying to get him to make a mistake here. Very impressive here, Matthew White. We thought his winning chances were really about to fade, and all of a sudden he is on his back bumper, trying to get by him. Bryce Benson has a good exit here, trying to pull back away from Matthew White. But Matthew White is striking this. Still a decent amount of time left in this race. Over 5 laps to go still as we enter back. Go back close to the front straightaway.
Yeah, all of a sudden handling issues out of this 9 car. Benson is starting to maybe struggle. Matthew White, he's been putting the pressure on his bumper. He is trying to come down the front straightaway. That's a good run, I think, for Matthew White. Maybe not as much as I thought. I thought Benson got tight. Going back at a 1. Oh, he's going to close. Oh! Almost contact. White slides. He'll lose maybe a car length or 2, but Benson slides as well. Back up through the S's. That is actually not good news for Matthew White. He lost a lot of time by doing that. Benson able to pull back away. That's unfortunate by Matthew White. He still has time left to go. 8 laps remaining.
8 laps remaining, and Bryce Benson trying to pull away after Matthew White's mistakes in a little too deep there. Matthew White maybe a little loose entering the bus stop here, and wow, he is. That was a really good bus stop there for him. I don't know if he got time till he went through the grass a little bit, but I think that was clean there. As Matthew White, he's gained time for the bus stop. He's been going through the grass, but he's been gaining time off it. So I wouldn't change anything. He's not getting time doing these. Bryce Benson, Matthew White probably closed the gap by half from the start of last lap.
And Matthew is just pushing that race car so hard. He is doing everything he can to close up the gap. He isn't still very happy with Bryce Benson after Darlington last week. Let's be honest on that. They had the great battle for the win after Cole Wilson held up Bryce Benson late in the going. I mean, remember these two got together in the truck race. 3rd place won the race then. Braden Hunsicker running in 3rd. Who knows? 7 laps to go in Watkins Glen. I wouldn't be the most surprised person if Matthew could get there and there was contact. Who knows?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. As Bryce Benson is actually a 10.5 quicker there. But if you're Hunsinger, you still push because these two get side by side. They can make a little bit of contact. This would be an opportunity to
oh my god,
get their first win. As Matthew White, again, he's just sending it through these bus stops. And I don't know, that's how it looks like he gained more time again. As as Bryce Benson, again, he looks like he's getting good exits though. The second back stretch.
The lap traffic ahead, that's Landon Johnson. He could, I don't think he'll make it interesting, but you never know. We'll see where Benson catches him. Coming back to 6 laps to go this time by. Is there enough time for White to try to run down this 9 car? Does the 9 have any more handling left in it to win this race? 6 remaining at Watkins Glen. Matthew White looking for 3 straight wins at this track. Bryce Benson looking to get a recovery drive after, of course, being disqualified from the Southern 500 last week. He is going to try to come. He is just pushing as hard as Matthew White possibly can. Remember, all that pushing, is he wearing out his tires too much? White in the 7.
He could very much be, so he's starting to lose a bit of time here. But I don't think Lane Johnson would try to be in the lane. But a road course, it's very easy to try to maybe let the car by and actually get in the way.
Oh my god.
The grass. Okay, he does get out of the way. Bryce Benson does go a little wide here, so Matthew White has the opportunity to gain here. But Bryce Benson tries a little conservative there, trying to get by Lane Johnson, and Matthew White's on the close just a little bit.
Yeah, White is going to be definitely really aggressive on these final few laps, if I'd have to imagine. I mean, he is just pushing this car to the absolute maximum. I'm surprised he hasn't wrecked yet. Ooh, that's a little bit of a loose moment back in the final corner for Bryce Benson. I mean, momentum down these straightaways is very important at Watkins Glen. If we're coming to 1 to go, how big of a dive bomb, if he's close enough, will Matthew White have on Bryce Benson? Who knows if he's still behind him like this. He's closing the gap up a little bit more. Benson slides. White still behind him. 5 remaining at Watkins Glen. The battle is on for the race win. Back up to the S's. Benson still leads, maybe about 4 or so car lengths over the 7 of Matthew White.
Yeah, if we do get to the final lap, Matthew White's close enough, we'll definitely send. We've seen him send it through his bus stop. Here's just how much harder he could send it if on the final lap. As Matthew White again closing a lot of time here, he's really going to miss that corner. That would definitely be a penalty for Matthew White as we go through here. Matthew White is close, but I think it's going to be a penalty for Matthew White. But probably has to be slow because all 4 tires went through the grass there.
It didn't look like him slowed him down too much. I don't know. Ooh, that's a moment out of Benton's car. He's still got Hunsicker in third. Don't forget about him just yet. Think about the truck race. I know there's no Cole Wilson holding up your leader here, but who knows? Anything could happen. It's not over till it's over. We've seen that time and time again. We've even seen that at the end of these after the race is over, of course. Like we mentioned last week, Benton getting disqualified from the Southern 500, giving the win to Landon Johnson. That time by, Benton looked a little bit quicker than that 7 car. Matthew White is just trying to keep pace behind him.
Yeah, he's top 2 pulling away too. Definitely having the faster laps of the race, and compared to Hunsinger and the guys behind, they're definitely top 2 quickest as we go back to the bus stop. Hunt much cleaner there for Matthew White, and I will say Matthew White gains a decent amount of time from his bus stop. And looks like when he does that, Vice President gets a good exit off his second straightaway. But I think Matthew White also gains for here. But I think through like the S's and going to turn 1, Vice President does have good time there.
Coming to 3 to go this time by. Got lap traffic. That's Zane Rahman. Might be in the way. We'll see. 3 laps to go from Watkins Glen International. That was a bit of a bad corner there for Matthew White. He lost some time to Bryce Benson again. Rahman gets out of the way. Going to let these leaders race. I think White, he is just now too far back. Is that obviously a slower lap time now?
Yeah, 3 tenths quicker than Bryce Benson. I think Matthew White has definitely killed his tires. He has pushed very hard with fresh tires, but ultimately since entering almost every corner, especially through this bus stop, I think at this point his tires are basically killing. Unless Bryce Benson has a mistake here, or Matthew White somehow finds extra grip for his tires. Again, I mean, he is sending it through that bus stop trying to gain some time.
Just looks like a little bit too late for the 7 of Matthew White. Just not able to close the gap up to the 9 of Bryce Benson the way he wanted to, like he thought he was going to do. Maybe just wishing he never actually or let Benson flip the stage on him. 2 laps to go this time by. It's not over until it's over, like we said. But Benson looks maybe on cruising, maybe to cruise to his 7th career victory. Tonight from Watkins Glen International.
Matthew White was 2 tenths quicker there for that lap.
That's kind of surprising. I mean, he'll be there. He might be there. We'll see. Again, not over till it's over. I mean, there is still a beef from Darlington, but I don't think White's realistically close enough to make any sort of move, at least right now.
Yeah, if we can cut this lead maybe by like half, who knows what turn 1 can look like, because that's a really bad braking corner. Could give Bryce Benson a shot going into the corner to move out of the way, and he could go through or let Braden Hunsinger get in the battle. But Matthew White probably needs to gain about 2 or 3 minutes to have the opportunity to maybe spend it in turn 1 to become the 1 to go this time.
Yeah, White just still kind of struggling with the handling of that race car. Behind Bryce Benson, who will round a second to last corner. Last corner here before he will see the white flag. It's 1 lap to go this time by in Watkins Glen. The final lap is underway. Matthew White just still a little bit too far back to try to make anything happen. 1 lap remains here at the Glen. Benson back into turn 1. I gotta just take it nice and smooth here. White not close enough to try to make anything happen behind him. Benson just trying to bring it home. Final time up to the S's. A little bit tight there, but looks mostly okay. Just got to be nice and clean, nice and smooth. Bring it to the checkered flag. Last time down this back straightaway he'll go.
Yeah, last time down this back, last time through his bus stop. See how much that Matthew White sends it through here. See if he's already. See, he's really going to send it through here, trying to gain some time. But I think not going to be enough. Bryce Benson goes to the second back straightaway here. And I think it's going to be another win here for Bryce Benson. Matthew White not close enough. What a day, though, for John Butler. But ultimately, Bryce Benson looks like he's going to cruise the victory line.
Benson, 2 more corners to go. Got disqualified from the Southern 500. That's not going to hurt him. He will not be able to contend for the regular season championship next week in Daytona, but this will be an extra 5 chase points. Bryce Benson wins in Watkins Glen. Second will be Matthew White. Third, across the line. Good lap, good race by Braden Hunsicker. He'll finish P3. Fourth is going to be, fourth, how about John Butler? What a job well done by the 09 car. He will do it. He will finish here in P4.
Yeah, a battle here between Pace and Lindsay, 8 holes. It may not sound about a lot for 7th inning, but another point for Pace and Lindsay matter a lot here. For,
these two both on the chase bubble. Yeah, these two both on the chase bubble. Here they come. Final corner. Holes to the inside of Lindsay. Lindsay going to try to get to his bumper. He'll look at, oh, there's a crossover move. He actually gets there. What a great move. Oh, Holes tries to turn him. Coming to the checkered flag. Lindsay gets the spot. That's a great move by Pace and Lindsay. Bryce Benson wins the race here in Watkins Glen.
Yeah, we'll see if that 1 point will matter enough, but you also got to remember Mason Lindsay gave up a couple stage points. He flipped it for the end of the race, but ultimately did not help him. But lost about 3 or 4 stage points. He didn't make up that 1 point, but just imagine if he had those 4 extra points going to Daytona.
Benson, though, career win number 7. Definitely gets redemption from last week in Darlington. He will burn it down. Benson will burn it down on the front straightaway. Your winner yet again in Watkins Glen. This is a race that he got suspended at from last season. This time, a little bit better, I would say. Actually spun out in the last lap last year. Interesting battle. I do wish Matthew White and Bryce were able to battle a little bit more there. It's just the dirty air with this race car. It's really makes things impossible. It does.
Yeah, it does. And Bryce Benson, I know he got disqualified last week, but he just won a lot of races this year. Winning none of the first 4. It feels like almost every race this season, which has been very impressive. Bryce Benson lost a motor, but what was that? If it counts last week, win 7?
Yeah, that is win 7 on the year. All right. Anyways, well, post-race interviews will be coming up from the Glen. Definitely an interesting race there, Eli. I thought Matthew White was going to be able to run him back down, but fair's the Bryce Benson. He held off.
Yeah, he most definitely did hold off there. So, I mean, I'd expect him to get there and maybe give an opportunity, maybe give him a bump going into turn 1 or after for some down the backstretch at some point. But ultimately, his tires worn out. Got worn out even though he was on fresher tires, but he pushed way too hard. I guess early on, you can say he could have stayed a little bit and tried to push late, but ultimately, it wasn't enough.
Yeah, just Matthew White so close, but unfortunately for him so far. Definitely going to be frustrated. I mean, he was just pushing to the absolute limit. My goodness. Apparently, Matthew White is not very happy with Bryce Benson again. So those two, yeah, it's not the greatest blood between those two. Let's be honest. All right, well, post-race interviews coming up. Bryce, you somehow did it again. It's your 7th win of your career, your 7th this season. What an incredible breakout season. It's just been unbelievable for you guys this year. Your first win at Watkins, Glen. How about it? Definitely some redemption, obviously, from the Darlington Southern 500 last week, and then obviously for the truck race as well on Tuesday. How about that? And you did it once again while not looking like you had the fastest car. You flipped the stage. How happy are you that you made that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that first stage I was about equal with Matthew. It was just the dirty air that was just holding me back, and yeah, so I decided to flip the stage, and I knew that since we were basically equal pace, he was gonna struggle on dirty air. So I flipped the stage and got the lead, and basically just won the race. I mean, I knew I probably wasn't gonna get the one playoff point for winning the stage because I don't think I was gonna win it. There was no way I was gonna get there in the dirty air. So yeah, I decided to flip the stage because I don't really need points. I'm not going to win the regular season championship anyway. So figured I might as well just flip the stage, go for the win, lose a few points, but hopefully get 5 playoff points out of it instead of 1 for winning the stage. And it worked out pretty well. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I was any better than Matthew that whole race. I really don't think so. I think we're about equal. But yeah, I mean, I just got to say good race to Matthew, and it was a fun battle. I mean, it was really tough to pass. It was basically impossible to pass, like unless someone made a mistake. I mean, when you're like equal pace with someone, it was near impossible to pass. I mean, it's already hard to pass at road courses, and with this high horsepower of a car, it makes it just even harder. And it's pretty hard. It was really hard to pass. So yeah, I knew flipping the stage hopefully would have paid off, and it did, and yeah, won us the race. So yeah, honestly, maybe one of my favorite wins of my FedEx career, just because I had to hold off probably the best at road courses ever in this league. I'm gonna be honest. He's really good at the road courses. I don't even think I'm as good as him at the road courses. So yeah, definitely really proud of myself to get the win, even though it was really hard to pass. But still really happy to get it.
Well, yeah, of course. Matthew White, he had made a little bit of a comment there in the general chat, something about the restart. You know exactly what was going on, like there.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Yeah, it was a little questionable. I mean, I kind of didn't think he was actually gonna like send it to get to the inside, so I just figured I'd be able to just turn in, make the corner, and he ended up getting there. And yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily want to let him have it. I mean, he wasn't necessarily there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously. I mean, of course, it can't be a Bryce Benham win without having controversy. So, yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it was a little questionable, but I don't think it was anything too bad for me. I mean, not as bad as Darlington, at least. I mean, I'll have to look back at it because I'm not sure if it was really that bad or not. I mean, from my view, it wasn't that bad. I didn't necessarily expect him to send it in so deep to try to get there, and I don't know. I mean, sorry to Matthew for it if really that bad. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, of course, you guys, unfortunately now, with one race left to go, even though you won tonight, heading to Daytona next week, you are officially unable to win the regular season championship. Cameron Chandler now officially locks that up, but I think you might actually lock up second. Yeah, you just about locked up second. Yeah, you did lock up second place. So that's going to gain you 10 more chase points. That's going to be 15 in total, I guess, technically from this night, if you want to think about it that way. So, I mean, now looking into the chase, what do you guys think you could do Daytona next week? Don't got to worry about points racing.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wasn't gonna win the regular season championship anyway. I think that was basically locked up, like probably halfway through the season. To be honest, I don't think I was gonna get there. Cameron was just too consistent, and I was definitely not gonna be able to get it. But yeah, my focus after realizing I wasn't gonna win the regular season championship was just playoff points and winning races, winning stages, and that's really what my focus was. And was able to get a huge playoff point lead until that penalty. But um, yeah, I mean, I think we definitely needed this win to try to just get playoff points entering the playoffs. It's really important. I mean, I found out last season having those playoff points was incredibly important, even though it was technically a different, different format. But still, it's really important to have playoff points in the playoffs. It's incredibly important because I think that's what kind of screwed me last season. I mean, I was able to make the playoffs, but had zero playoff points because I didn't even win it. I didn't win a race or a stage. So yeah, I think just having those playoff points is just a huge thing into the playoffs.
Yeah, the turnaround is kind of crazy from this season to last, but of course, good to see you guys back in the lane yet again. 7th win of the season. That is, that's impressive. My goodness. But we will see you next week in Daytona.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
It is really impressive. I know he's kind of done it on some strategies here and there, but even that, like, it's just, wow. It's so impressive how I don't think we've ever seen that kind of career turnaround from never winning a race in Cup, only one race in Grand National, to now a 7-time Cup winner, Daytona 500 champion, Charlotte 600 champion, almost a Southern 500 champion, but you know what happened last week, and to now winning Watkins Glen yet again. So really, really, really impressive stuff. Braden Hunsticker, you guys will finish in 3rd today. I mean, it was a decent day. Actually, it was a pretty good day for you, I guess, with the gaining spots-wise. You started in the back for some reason. Then you gained all the way up to P6 in the stage. Some people stayed out, whatever. Then you had a great restart. Passed some guys. Cameron, of course, ran straight into the back of Pace and Lindsay. That gained you guys some spots as well. You held on the 3rd place to finish top 3 here in Watkins Glen. So ultimately, you think that drive through the field was nice?
Well, I couldn't get any practice in because my internet was being stupid. So qualifying was my practice session pretty much. I was around a lot of questionable people, and I thought I was going to be in the middle of a wreck, so I just gave myself an EOL, start from the back, avoid all that. But they didn't wreck, so I had to drive my way through the field, got up to like P7, and then I got held up for 3 seconds, and then I passed whoever it was for P6. And then a couple guys pit. We got 3rd in the stage, which is awesome. And then a couple guys stayed out, and we avoided a wreck on the start. And then we just stayed 3rd for rest of the race. Couldn't really gain on the guys in front, unfortunately. And I wish Matthew and Bryce had a little more run-ins together so I could maybe catch up and have a shot at it. But P3 is nice. Good points day, and I mean, not much more I could ask for, pretty much, and just it's nice.
Well, of course, we head next week to Daytona. It is the regular season finale. You guys sit currently 3rd in points. So actually, 3rd in points gets 5 chase points. Do you have any? Actually, I don't know. Let's see.
Let me look. Yeah, let me look real quick. Do you put it in the standings or?
Oh no, here you have 1. You won one. You
Oh,
won one
wow.
stage. All right, so of course, still winless, of course. I have to say, unfortunately, this is the longest winless streak of your Cup Series career. I think it's over 20 races now, going back to Dover last season. Technically, he didn't win Miami. Or was it Talladega? It was one of those.
It was either or.
Yeah.
But
Well, of course, you are gonna be in a battle with Matthew White. He's 27 behind you. You think you can hold on to 3rd and get actually 5 valuable chase points?
well, if I'm being honest, those chase points probably don't mean a damn thing considering how many wins Bryce has gotten. He probably has like I don't even know how many chase points, but we'll try to do our best to hold on to P3. Hopefully we won't wreck the field this time. And just looking to survive, finish with a okay spot, I guess, and just build momentum for the chase. So I mean, that's the plan. It's going to be the plan for the playoffs. So just looking forward to it.
All right, so of course we'll see you coming up next week from Daytona for the regular season finale. Nice job on P3.
Oh my god.
Yeah, nice try, Fatty.
What?
Shut up,
Unbelievable.
Landon.
But I agree.
No, I'm texting the women back.
Huh?
Oh,
You're texting your
nothing.
boyfriends. All right. Anyways, coming up next is going to be Cameron Chandler. Cameron Chandler, you guys will finish fifth today after just destroying the back end of Pace and Lindsay, your teammate. But most importantly, you are our NASCAR iRacing FedEx Cup Series Season 5 regular season champion. How about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, that's the real championship everyone goes for. It's the one. I feel like this season goes way too far, so that's the. I really care about getting the. I don't care how many races this was in the regular season, but I think it's pretty cool we got that. We're gonna try to win the actual championship. I don't know because I'm missing a race, but yeah, I wish we could have done a little bit better this race. We got collecting the terrorism in the turn one and killed the front end, and that was it for the rest of the race for us.
All right, so of course we head to Daytona next week. You guys have nothing on the line, so you think aggression could be very high for you guys next week with no points racing, no nothing. You're already locked in to everything.
Yeah, we're gonna go into Daytona. We're gonna pray to the Mac grab. We're gonna put it against the wall. Well, we're not gonna put it against the wall, but we're gonna try to get to the front, and we're gonna be that 8 car, and we're gonna be Dale Jr. We're gonna try to take the lead, hold the lead, and we're gonna try to win the race for the second season in a row.
All right, so of course Cameron Chandler, good luck trying to win 2 Daytona regular season finale races in a row, and we will see you next week from the World
That is
Center.
it.
What?
You made me sit here for a half an hour while you interview 2 people, and
All
that
right,
is
Cameron
all I
Chandler.
get.
Cameron
That is
Chandler.
it?
How are you going to celebrate your regular season championship?
I don't like you, Ethan Trumler.
Well,
I own this league
unbelievable.
now. No, this is my league. Give me your account. Give me your money. This is
Nice
mine.
try.
He's got money.
No, what? Anyways, coming up
Great
next.
baiting.
Coming up next, how about Kylan Wilson? Kylan Wilson. Cameron Chandler's back. Kylan Wilson, how about it? You guys will finish in 6th in your Cup Series debut. That is ultra impressive by you guys. I feel like you guys had more speed than you did in Grand National last night. How did you do it?
Man, I have no clue. Grand National car, there was 0 rotation at all. At least with the Gen 4, there was a little bit of rotation. I mean, I actually thought I was gonna finish like P15, P13.
All right, so we head to Daytona next week. Will we see you in both races for both Cup and Grand National?
I will only do Grand National.
All right, Kylan. Well, nice job on the run tonight. What a great Cup Series debut for you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow or next week. I'm sorry, for the Grand National race in Daytona.
All right, peace.
Okay. Thank you, Eli. Anyways. How did you already get the points? Oh, I uploaded them. Yeah, that's why.
No, I got it from the simulation.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right.
But
so,
if you want to show, if you found a way to put those points up for the people that are watching, I put a timestamp on the bottom, and it's very important because we don't know what Pace Valencia's penalty is going to be tomorrow, and he is not too much ahead of that cut line. So if he does get any points of penalty, we'll see. And it'll definitely affect him because right now he's not locked in yet. Because at some points, I think during this week, maybe weekend, we should get a penalty if it is points related penalty. We do expect a penalty though, based off what I'm hearing from officials. So we'll see what it will be.
Yeah, we'll see. It should be certainly interesting. I think we do have a couple more interviews to go here. Coming up next is going to be Pace and Lindsay. Pace and Lindsay, you will finish 7th here at Watkins Glen International. But you had somebody straight up your rear end, Cameron Chandler. That sounds wrong, but anyways, what was it like there getting wrecked by your teammate?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I got wrecked by Cameron. I'd say more so I got Leventon there in turn one. He didn't really leave Matthew and he ran with the curb when he tried to dive onto the inside. Matthew had nowhere to go other than try and slow down harder. Locked at the tires. I ran into the back of him, and it was either spin the thing out in front of the field and probably have a 10-car pileup, or poke it to the left and just do a little lazy spin. So we got slightly tapped in the rear end by Cameron there when you were trying to spin it around, but that's better than killing 10 cars. I mean, we only lost like 4 spots from that, but with the way Bryce and Matthew were battling up there, we actually had really good speed. We were only like 3/10 off the leaders there for a couple laps. There was a couple laps in like the middle of the run that we were like maybe 5, 6, 7/10 off, but we just didn't have the middle run speed there to stay with those guys in the first run. But sure to put us comfortably above the cut line here going into Daytona, and we'll see what we can do. It's gonna be some fun tandem racing next week.
Tandem racing. I don't know about that, but we will. So of course, heading to Daytona next week. Let's look at the chase cut line. Eli just gave me that. You guys are now 21 to the good. That's a nice buffer, the best buffer you've had. Well, we'll see what happens after tomorrow. But anyways, for now, you're plus 21 to the chase cut line. So, what are your feelings on that heading to Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't get an absolutely horrific penalty, which, I mean, knowing my luck, we'll probably somehow end up missing the chase still by needing a win at Daytona, and we'll finish like 4th or 5th. But yeah, if we can just not get a penalty and then execute there, we're going to be doing some good drafting with my teammates. You got CJ Erdman up there. He's always good at these super speedways. We can be up front with him. Just going to be really, really fun next week trying to work the outside around some guys training on the bottom so we can get to work and just staying up front.
All right, Pace and Lindsay, well, nice job finishing 7th here, getting a good points day as well for you guys, and we'll see you next week from Daytona.
Yeah, thank you. Freeway.com.
No one's going to be there. No one's visiting that site. Nice try. All right, I think we have 2 more to go, or 3 more to go. Man, why don't we just bring them all in here?
Wow.
It'll be a 3-wide interview here from Watkins Glen. So, first of all, everybody state their finishes and everyone say how their day went.
Yeah, car is absolutely trash, you know. Just want to thank ETR.
I didn't ask you. Unbelievable we got moved. Just unbelievable stuff there.
What did I finish again?
The car was terrible.
Yeah, nice try.
He's not even here.
Nobody can hear you if, you know.
Ethan Trella needs to validate his life decisions and bringing this car to the league.
Well, you voted for it.
This car sucks.
No, you can't complain about the car being in the league after we all voted for it.
Yeah,
I actually think every single person in this VC voted for the car, so none of us should be complaining that we
That's
voted.
not
No,
true.
I didn't.
Yeah, but Ethan Trendler, good job on not being bad today. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll just talk about my day then. So, yeah, P12 finished. No, sorry, not P12. P9 finished for Wait, no, the way I say it's just not okay. Well, 9th place finished for me in the Screaming Luigi #1. So, yeah, I mean, car was pretty much uncomfortable all race long. I spun out after lap 9, so that wasn't really good. But yeah, just a quiet day for us. We just got out of everybody's way and yeah, just did what we could.
Well, good night. Good race there for you. And what do you think is going to happen at Daytona? Do you think you have a chance there?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I won iCard there once. Needless to say, I mean, I won most of my elite races at Daytona. So, I don't know. Maybe I might play spoiler here, or maybe spoiler sometime in the chase. Who knows? I kind of hope I do, but yeah. I'll be running my same scheme from when I ran the 500. So yeah, that'll be exciting.
Well, good luck, and we'll see you at Daytona.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, who wants to do the outro?
Landon Johnson,
think you
since you
did,
finished like last place through all of us, why don't you do it?
Well, that's about it here from Watkins Glen International Speedway. We'd like to thank all our drivers, all our commentators, and all our officials for making this a great league. We'll see you next week in Daytona. Good night.